started getting the upper hand, and suicide bombing was the key protagonist which changed things into Iran's favor. So once that started happening, Iraq was the one who was begging for ceasefire, just like what we are seeing the starting signs, and Iran refused. So Iran can't be taken lightly. It was a catastrophic mistake on US and Israel. First, that they grossly underestimated the capabilities of Iran, military capabilities, and secondly, they felt ki it will be like second Venezuela, ki just remove the top leadership, everything will crumble down. So majority of this fear or the मतलब हिंदी में बोलते हैं, हवा बनाई है of CIA and Mossad. It is just like Hollywood. Your intelligence can't be so inaccurate, especially when it is a life and death situation for your country.
तो साहिल जी नमस्कार, भक्त चैनल पे दोबारा एक बार आपका स्वागत है। तो साहिल जी, लेट्स स्टार्ट। इन आवर लास्ट डिस्कशन यू सजेस्टेड दैट दिस इज नॉट जस्ट एन ईरान इजराइल वॉर, नाउ दैट वी सी मल्टीपल फ्रंट्स ओपनिंग, डज दैट कंफर्म योर अर्लियर असेसमेंट, एंड कैन यू आल्सो गिव अस अ ब्रीफ वॉर अपडेट as of 26 March?
Sure. So the war is heading towards a very interesting times. Recently, one of the most recent updates is that US submitted a 15-point peace plan, which Iran has countered with their own 5 points. Apart from that, there are heavy engagements of Israel with Hezbollah in the southern Lebanon part, and the Israeli ministers and the top brass of Israel, they have confirmed to the media that they are trying to annex the southern Lebanon part as well. So this is actually a strategy of their Greater Israel project. We'll expand on that later, but this Greater Israel project has a lot of part of Middle East. So there are certain regions of Saudi Arabia also which is included in that part. But yeah, and to counter this, so uh, you asked about how the issue is not bilateral also. So one of Iran's partner, Russia, they have given them the formidable S-400 missile system. It's an air defense system which was deployed over here during Operation Sindoor as well in Bharat, and it gave really good results. So I think 4 batteries have been given, and they have been deployed in Kharg Islands, in Tehran. So now Russia and China have, in a way, become more active in this confrontation. And apart from that, we have this Gulf proxies of like Saudi, Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, who also have chosen a side, but they are acting as if they are neutral and they are the victims of Iran's unnecessary aggression. However, they are the ones who are giving all kinds of passive support to the entire Israel-US effort. Then there are countries like Germany and UK, which have to forcefully choose a side. It's clear that they don't want to, but there is strong pressure for them to do so. Then there are countries like Bharat and Japan, which are very anxious about what's going to happen, how things will unfold, because their individual needs and energy necessities are heavily dependent on that particular geography. And then there is the interesting case of Lebanon, as I mentioned, because the situation over there is extremely complex, and it is in a way getting sandwiched between two powers. So this is how the situation currently is over there.
Sahil, you also spoke about leadership loss creating instability. But now Iran seems more aggressive. How do we interpret this shift? We were thinking Ayatollah may, after Ayatollah, there will be a lot of disruption. You also mentioned that if the war continues, the situation of Bharat may also get worsened. And also, why is Lebanon situation complicated here?
See, Lebanon is very interesting right now because the Lebanese government is pro-US in a way. The population over there is divided, and Hezbollah is very active and strong over there. Okay, so it is Iran's strongest proxy, and it's a genuinely force to reckon with. Hezbollah is not to be taken lightly. So they are giving a very difficult time to Israel in southern Lebanon during their confrontation. It is an active front which has engaged Israel. Now that this front has also opened, Israel wants to grab that Lebanese territory also, the southern Lebanon, and wants to expand northward, so up till the Litani River. So it is in a way a blatant war crime to annex, but it's Israel and they are backed by US, so no one can say a word. They can do anything. So in a way, Israel has been heavily. They are able to do whatever they want. They also used white phosphorus over there. It is a chemical weapon. Okay, it is banned in war. All that happens, especially when someone like US backs you. So that's what is happening over there. Hezbollah has opened a front, and it is very strong over. And as far as your other question, it was about leadership, right? Huh. So and Iran is being more aggressive. So as far as that is concerned, there is no option other than being aggressive or being on the offense for Iran. For Iran, its only defense is being offensive. And your past question was about how Iranian leadership, the vacuum has might create instability, or and Iran has become more aggressive. So yeah, for Iran, defense is the only offense available. That is the only option right now, because anything apart from that means a certain defeat for Iran. Iran is taking tremendous amounts of hits and damages right now. So it has realized that only as the proper usage of its missiles, its drones, and that mountainous geography, it only gives them that's the only thing that is giving them a chance against two nuclear powers, and one of them is the world's biggest power. So, and secondly, they have been betrayed twice now in this confrontation only. They have been betrayed. So, twice they were supposed to be on the negotiating table, and so that's what Iran is saying, right? So, you bring us on the negotiation table only to attack us immediately. So, Iran has realized that all these efforts are just a way to distract us and to strike us. So now the only way to get a favorable outcome for Iran is to keep up their offense, and which is really pressurizing US and Israel right now, because even Israel is taking tremendous hits. So now they have that is why I said ki Iran in a way have an upper hand right now, because of how offensive and how smart their offensive is, because of their missiles and drone combo. The cheap and effective, and how the sheer quantity of these drones, they are outnumbered, and the defense capabilities of THAAD, Patriot systems, or Iron Dome.
Iran, as you mentioned, we have seen that Iran has changed their policies to use not to use expensive ammunition, but they are using low cost and cheap ammunition and continuing the attack on different locations. So, how is this whole situation you see as of now? What is true? What is actually going on?
This is a very tricky question, especially when there is a war-like situation, because both sides will naturally claim victory. Both sides naturally claim that we have the upper hand, and media outlets which support or are funded, both of them claim and parrot their own story. So this is very common. However, there are a couple of indications through which we can see who has the upper hand currently. That is, it is America who's constantly looking for ceasefire. Although Trump may say everything, ki Iran is the one who's desperate. They have sent me a present. They have sent me a good big present. I mean that exaggerated nonsensical talk that he does. But it is clear when some US gives a 15-point plan, and most of the points in that plan, they are in a way pro Iranian demands. But these demands, they were before the war. Now they are addressing it. but the situation isn't the same as it was before the war, right? Iran has taken tremendous hits. They have lost their top leadership. So it is definitely not the same. Second indication of why Iran has the upper hand is that they have literally stuck the crown jewel of Israel nuclear arsenal, which was in Dimona. Dimona, in a way, it is strategically more important to Israel than even Tel Aviv or Jerusalem. And Iranian strikes have really shattered the hopes and the confidence of Israeli people as well. So you saw yesterday only the mayor of Tel Aviv or some major city of Israel. He was literally crying. Ki, uh, what's happening is unprecedented, and he was blaming the political class and so basically the local politics of Israel. But the situation in we only see the damages that are happening in Iran, but Israel is also taking tremendous hits. And it's just that Indian media and even global media, because it is controlled by America, it is not showing that
So,
side.
as you said that Iran has an upper hand, what makes you to say this that Iran has an upper hand?
Yeah, this only key. It is America. So these were the two reasons, right? That Dimona, it was literally the crown jewel of Israeli nuclear. It is the crown jewel, and it is like the nuclear backbone of Israel. So it is more. It was probably the most protected territory, even more than Tel Aviv. Even that is being hit. Now even US, when it is desperate to come on the negotiation table, you understand the tides are turning. Even within Israel, they are starting to confront their political leadership about whether the decision was wrong and how it was a huge intelligence failure, that they didn't realize the capabilities of Iran, how strong they
We
actually are.
were also talking last time about the Strait of Hormuz, and we discussed alternate shipping routes as well. So, my question is, the Strait of Hormuz already experiencing a practical disruption, even without a formal closure, or Strait of Hormuz is closed? And could this prolonged instability permanently change the global shipping routes? I mean, we also discussed last time, and you said that it's not viable. So, what will happen then?
See, to be very honest, it can't. There can't. There won't be a permanent change to the global shipping routes, because we only have that two areas for so that proper trade can take place between the western world and the eastern world. Okay, and shipping industry is very cost sensitive that way as well. There were plans to build another strait parallel to parallelly. Israel was the Ben Gurion Strait. However, it is very difficult considering how antagonistic the Middle Eastern population are to Israel, and it won't be a smooth ride basically. So it is just impossible to have a completely different route. See, there the solution to this would be either by befriending Iran or to be on their Iranian good books, or to pay them the 2 million US dollars which they are demanding. So it's impractical for any for people to move from encircling the entire African continent and coming there. And the situation is very chaotic and full of panic. So recently, just because of this problem, Philippines declared a national emergency. So you realize the gravity of the situation when a country has to declare national emergency. So yeah, it's a very chaotic time right now.
Who is strategically benefiting from this instability? I mean, you have seen that Trump has given two times update about war, and crude oil prices decreased from 112 rupees dollars per barrel to 100 and then 96. Then he threw out one very hilarious thing that he has received a big gift from Iran, and he has not declared ki what is that big gift, but it is really valuable, it is very high cost. So is Trump uh, playing mind games? Is this his strategy, or this is nonsense.
Yeah, as you rightly said, it is absolute bunkum. It is absolute nonsense. It is just a way to fool its own people. Okay, there is nothing. Iran have clearly stated that they are not interested in temporary ceasefire. If you want to stop this war, there has to be a permanent solution, and they are 100% correct on their part, because all these time buying techniques are only there because they want to strike harder against Iran. They just want to buy time, and they will strike harder. You understand, you can't, you won't repeat the same mistakes again and again. So Iran has been deceived twice by USA ki he'll have temporary ceasefire or something along those lines. There are no negotiation. US only uses the time to strike harder. So this won't happen. Ki Iran won't fall into the same trap. And coming to your earlier question, who benefits apart from the industry, apart from the defense industrial complex of Europe? Russia is the main beneficiary of this entire war. Russia is literally minting money like, say, rich. Amazing amounts of all its Ukraine war deficits probably will be wiped out because of what's happening. Because the amount of demand that will exponentially rise for Russia would be very high, and good chance that even Russia will be so. From what is happening in the world currently, Russia is if Russia is the solution to this oil problem, even Russia will be attacked. So I see even Ukraine increasing their offense on Russia, and maybe attack their oil infrastructure also to create further panic in the oil market, because that is a recurring issue that is happening. Whatever, because see, we can clearly see one side who's trying to make this if not regional, a global issue, and that is the problem, because this Israel and US side, they are actually behaving like madmen. They are actually trying to take the world down with them.
First of all, Russia is getting stronger because of the huge amount of money they are minting. Second, we have also seen that Iran, I mean, we have never seen this side of Iran ever. The way they are waging the war, the way they are confronting US and Israel. And, we heard so many things that this Iron Dome and US patriotic missiles, they are very safe, but now we have seen the result. I mean, I must appreciate the way Iran has shown. So we have not seen this kind of Iran ever. I mean, they may be, but I think there was never a chance to see.
To be very honest, Iran was always like this. They have shown this mettle to fight and the strength to fight. See, these countries like Russia, Iran, even India to an extent, not the current Indian generation, the our older generation, we can stay through such tough, difficult times because we are that people. Iran has shown this mettle during Iraq-Iran war also. When Iraq had during Saddam Hussein used to be a major US ally. People don't know that, and later he got executed by the same ally. This is what happens to US allies also. And even during this war, when Iran started getting the upper hand, and suicide bombing was the key protagonist which changed things into Iran's favor. So once that started happening, Iraq was the one who was begging for ceasefire, just like what we are seeing the starting signs, and Iran refused. So Iran can't be taken lightly. It was a catastrophic mistake on US and Israel. First, that they grossly underestimated the capabilities of Iran, military capabilities, and secondly, they felt ki it will be like second Venezuela, ki just remove the top leadership, everything will crumble down. So majority of this fear or the मतलब हिंदी में बोलते हैं, हवा बनाई है of CIA and Mossad. It is just like Hollywood. Your intelligence can't be so inaccurate, especially when it is a life and death situation for your country.
Is this war going to reshape the global power? There will be some shift or major shift or no shift. like you just has mentioned that US is saying something and reality is something.
नहीं 100% there will be a major change sir 100% सबसे बड़ा the biggest change post this war would be no one would trust USA which acts like the big superman or the elder brother of the entire world which corrects everyone everyone should be dependent on US everything like that would crumble down um, it acts like the biggest hegemon. However, even amongst their own vassals, no one would be able to trust uh, US politically also. Forget the defense part. Even politically, it will be very difficult because you saw how immediately, as soon as certain situation changed, they were ineffective in managing the Middle Eastern crisis, and they had to bring their Patriot and THAAD systems right from South Korea, and they have completely exposed South Korea over there to North Korea, which is a nuclear powered country. Both two of the most important allies of USA don't have a proper backing over there. Japan and South Korea are completely vulnerable now. So the trust which other countries had. So every country going forward will think twice before, not even twice, 10 times before trusting what America says and promises. And secondly, the biggest change that we will see is the fall of petrodollar, or the strength of American dollar will significantly decrease. So that way we are on course for
Okay,
de-dollarization
so
as well.
now talk about India. So has India successfully managed this first phase of this crisis, or bigger challenges are still ahead?
Successfully managing, I would say India has done जितना कर सकते थे उतना अच्छा किया है. The situation is very delicate and very complicated. See, we should have been very critical of India if India wouldn't have managed to bring oil from Strait of Hormuz. However, Iran has agreed to send oil to us, and it has mentioned us amongst the 5 6 countries which, including Pakistan, is also there. But having India in that list, in spite the fact that we are so close to Israel, was genuinely brilliant balancing. So there is no India definitely as of now is doing a decent job. However, as I said earlier in my last podcast as well, ki the challenges would be huge going ahead. And in a way, Modi ji also gave a signal that there might be prepare for times similar to COVID.
हम कोरोना के समय भी एकजुटता से ऐसी चुनौतियों का सामना कर चुके हैं. अब हमें फिर से उसी तरह तैयार रहने की आवश्यकता है.
So even, and this came after Modi ji spoke with Trump. So the situation might get critical because the war would be very complicated.
What will be the biggest risk for the Indians in the Gulf?
For Indians in the Gulf, the most biggest problem I think would be is that so many Indians, their livelihood depends over there. So many Indians have their jobs, their businesses over there. So that will be a huge hit for them. The good thing is that they have a cushion to fall back to if things go south over there, which many Indians are coming back, but they have that home to come back to. But the problem over here is that, see, we also receive a huge amount of repatriations from these countries, and so their economic opportunities which they had over there in those prosperous West Asian countries, the same amount of economic opportunities aren't there in India. So that would be a huge problem to Indians to adjust to all these changes and huge
True.
problems.
Last question hai. Maybe we can close after this. Sahil ji, are we moving towards a
Sure.
long-term unstable West Asia, similar to a Cold War-style region, rather than a short conflict?
This was never a short conflict to begin with. Okay, it won't be a short conflict. Even if you have on one side there is a regional power, and on the other side there is a regional power and the strongest nation in the whole world, and that the other regional power, that is Israel. People don't know, but even Israel is nuclearly armed. Okay, So you have two nuclear armed countries against Iran. On paper, it should be like a short conflict, but it is not. It definitely won't be. So, and now even US has started to realize this, and that is precisely why this 15-point plan is being proposed. However, so Iran countered it with their 5 points. So, just to give you a brief idea about what those points are. First is that they would have proper and strategic control over that Strait of Hormuz, and so US has to recognize that. There should, as I said earlier, there should be a permanent end to this war. No temporary ceasefires, and that includes it not just Iran but also its proxies like Hezbollah.
Yeah.
All damages should be paid to Iran. As I said, billions of damages has been done. So war damages have to be given, and then the sanctions also have to be lifted. So so these conditions which Iran is setting, they are genuinely very difficult for USA and Israel to accept, because although they are in a way fair, but looking at the current leadership of America, it is very difficult ki it will be accepted. So definitely it will be a very long term problem. It will be very problematic. And in a way, if after a while, even if it stops, it will be only temporary, because both of these ideologies, in a way, they are mortal enemies of each other. For them, they one of them can't survive with having the other one also intact. So and that is precisely why. So see, if things go south or things go extremely bad for Israel, so this is something what I feel. If things go extremely bad for Israel, so just to give you a historical context, the world wars that happened, okay, the world wars happened. One of the most critical objectives of the two world wars was creation of Israel.
Two world
People don't
wars
know that.
happened for Israel.
Yes, for creation of nation of Israel. Similarly, this Russia-Ukraine war that is happening might be for recreation of another ancient homeland of Jews, which was called as Khazaria. This Khazaria is in this modern day Ukraine. So, if things go extremely bad for during this conflict, and if Israel faces a certain doomsday, there are huge chances that the relocation might happen in this ancient Khazaria, and that is why that land, in a way, through war is being cleared.
That's actually very, I mean, shocking for me as well to know these two facts.
Yeah. So I don't see West Asia being stable in the coming few years, or maybe even a decade or so. There will be a huge war in this area. Very unstable and very difficult times would be coming
It,
ahead.
no, it won't be only for Iran or Israel. The bad times, if they come, they will be global.
Yes, 100%, especially to countries which are so dependent. Okay, that is why I said in the last podcast we had, Atmanirbharta would be the most critical. But Atmanirbharta kaise ho if our energy is the most important need of, it is the growth engine of any country. And our we are heavily dependent on our energy for Middle Eastern countries. So that's why I said very tricky and difficult times ahead.
This was really very good discussion, very fruitful, और जो आपने कुछ इंसाइट्स बताए हैं, आई थिंक वो आज तक किसी ने कहीं रिवील नहीं किए होंगे या किसी के कान में नहीं पड़े होंगे। ये जो आपने वर्ल्ड वॉर 2 के बारे में बताया, इसराइल और सॉरी रशिया और यूक्रेन कॉन्फ्लिक्ट के बारे में बताया, और इसका जो आप कह रहे हैं, ये इसका सेंस बहुत डीपर जाता है फिर साहिल भाई। अगर आप ये कह रहे हैं कि दिस इज ऑल फॉर इजराइल, द वर्ल्ड वॉर 2, वर्ल्ड वॉर 1 and Ukraine Russia conflict all was for Israel. I mean, मुझे ये लग रहा है कि ये इसके पीछे बहुत बड़ी पावर है, एक थॉट प्रोसेस है ज्यूइश कम्युनिटी का, जिसके बारे में हम कहते हैं वर्ड को कंट्रोल करती है।
सी जस्ट टू गिव यू, हाँ, ये रॉथशाइल्ड का इंटरव्यू है, आप देख सकते हो, ही हैज हिमसेल्फ एडमिटेड, बाकी सब तो छोड़ ही दो। सो ये बहुत कम लोगों को पता है, इनफैक्ट नो वन नोज मे बी, people who are very much deep into this, at least they know, because कि रॉथशाइल्ड ने तो वो बाद में एडमिट किया, इंटरव्यू में ही बताया उसने, बट या
So
दिस
this
इज
was
वेरी
very
यूजफुल।
interesting, Sahilji, talking to you, getting war updates from Iran-Israel conflict and the global impact and the impact on India and Indians in Israel and West Bank, who are there, and the tricky situation happening all over. This was really a great discussion, Sahilji, and I hope we will meet soon again in next 2-3 weeks to have more discussion. Whatever the points you raised today and the things you predicted, maybe we'll again reaffirm them in next 2-3 weeks. Whatever you said, they have come to the screen. So really, thank you very much, Sahil ji, and thanks our viewers to watching us. Dhanyawad.